Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kadria. For those of you that don't know, I am a professional tattoo artist living and working in Los Angeles. And I made this channel because I wanted to have a place to talk about tattoos with people that like tattoos as much as I do. That being said, let me just jump into this video. I do a lot of talking with my friends, colleagues, coworkers, and we kind of come up with what we consider bad ideas for tattoos. Not every tattoo is a bad idea, but some of them certainly are. And what are those, you might ask? I'm going to tell you. The first thing that is probably a bad idea for a tattoo is if you get it too small. Think about it. If you get a tattoo too small, especially words, over time, as the ink tends to spread underneath the surface, it's going to look blurry. It's going to look muddy. It's going to be unintelligible. Case in point, I'll show you a picture of my tattoo. My friend Laura did this on me. It is a Lego block. And if you look very, very closely on the top of Legos, you can see the logo of Legos. It just says Lego. And at the time, she was just like, oh, yeah, I can get it in there. No problem. I got you. And I'm thinking to myself, over time, you ain't going to be able to read that. But I had faith in her, and I hadn't been getting a tattoo that much, so I figured, fuck it. It's on my leg. I don't care. And sure as shit, like, you can't read where it says logo. You can't read where it says Lego on it anymore. I know it says Lego, and most people that like played with Legos know that it probably say Lego, but it's just, I could have left it off and you'd still know what the item was, right? So that's a perfect example of why you shouldn't get it too small. When I see people with like paragraphs on their chest, like entire Drake verses on the ribs, I'm just like, why? Why would you do that to yourself? Because when you're shirtless and outside exposing yourself to sunlight and not wearing SPF like a good citizen, you're gonna over time, you're gonna age that tattoo probably more so than you would if you'd have just gotten it bigger. You know what I mean? I can show you a million examples of tattoos that were too small and would look awesomer if they were just larger. Now, if you want to get something very small, do the research and find somebody that's very good at doing small things. That way you don't wind up with some shit that you hate. Because you're going to wind up getting it covered, lasered, or both. That brings me to the next bad idea. This one isn't so much a bad idea. It's just something that I hear often. And it leads me to think that perhaps it was a bad idea because of the statement that I hear so often connected to it. So what happens is I'm sitting in the chair, right? I'm about to tattoo my client. And I always look at people's tattoos because I like tattoos. New, old, bad, good, I don't care. I like tattoos. And I go, hey, that's, cool. What's that about? And people get really sheepish and they're just like, I was really young. And it's just like, oh, damn it, I get it. I was young once, and the things that I wanted when I was 19, 20, now, they're not going to be things that I want years from now. Case in point, I was a huge Janet Jackson fan, and she had in her video, I believe, an image of a sun around the navel, the belly button, right? And I'm just like, yeah. She knows what she's doing. I need that around my navel so that I can be cool like Janet Jackson. No, see, turns out it was just for that video. She didn't even have that tattoo in real life. Meanwhile, my 15-year-old ass is just like, I gotta get it. I'm not gonna be cool without it. Mom, please. And it's just like, nah, wait. I'm so glad my mother said that to me because once I hit 21, 22, I was just like, that's lame. Why the fuck would I ever get that? I'm just going to go throw some jewelry in there. Chunk, belly button, navel rings. Yeah, those. And so I say all that to say, give it time. The thing that you think is cool now, is it still going to be cool 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Chances are it's not. So give it time. Don't do too much too soon, because you're going to wind up having to get it covered or lasered or both. And that is a bad idea, I promise you. 3 is going to be, it's an amalgamation of different things. Color, placement, and size. These are things that I want you to carefully consider when you're getting a tattoo, because if you don't, it could be a bad idea. Color. Let's say you're one of those people that's just like, oh, I know what color I want. I know where I'm gonna put that thing, and I know how big I want that thing to be. Good for you. Now, are you gonna get this thing so big that you can't put anything else around it, and now you just have one random floating skull in the middle of your arm? Or are you going to get it too small so that in a couple of years things bleed together, as I previously mentioned, and then you still have to get it lasered, covered, but you have to remedy the situation before you can be happy with it, right? Placement is something that you have to think about. Let's see, what's a good example? Wings. Those fucking wings. Whenever people get wings, unless you put them on your back, they're going to look silly. It's a bad idea. Why? Because anatomically, where do things have wings at? Insects. Birds, I guess, are the exception because it's sort of like their arms. Birds have arm wings. Yeah, birds have arm wings. That sounds right. And so I've seen people with wings on their chest. Why? How? Wings on their neck, wings on their like shoulder caps. And it's just sort of like, I don't understand. You don't understand how wings work. Do you, sir or madam? Because they don't work that way. And that's why it's a bad idea. Unless you get them on their back, they're just going to look silly. Now, if you want wings on your forehead, meet me at the shop. Not a big deal. I'll put them on your face if that's what you want. You want to be a winged-faced person? I'm down. I'm down if you're down. We'll make this bad decision together. Now, that brings me to my next point, which is that copying tattoos. Nowadays, you don't even have to be a really good artist. A lot of artists copy and paste really well. They throw it into Procreate, can erase a few bits, and that's the tattoo that you're going to get unless you decide to have them draw it from scratch for you. And not everybody can do that. I can, but, I'm built different. If you're going to copy from the internet, make sure that you give the reins to your artist. There's nothing wrong with like Googling, Pinterest, Instagram, that sort of thing. There's nothing wrong with showing those things to your artist as inspiration, but to go into a spot, plunk down your money and be like, I want this. I just want this on me. Can you do that? Yes, we can do that. Should you do that? No. Why? Because it's a bad fucking idea. You don't want to be walking around with 10 other people in your city with the same tattoo. The exception to this rule is memorial tattoos. When Kobe died, R.I.P., the GOAT, he sparked quite a few people running out to get the number 8, the number 24, his little Triforce symbol that represents him. And I completely understand in that situation. A lot of people grew up watching him, and there's a connection, almost like a shared bond when you run into another person that has a Kobe tattoo and y'all have the same tattoo, and it's just like, oh, our worship for this player was not a bad idea. You're right. In that instance, it's not. But in every other instance, don't do it. Bad idea. Next, face and fingers. Face and fingers are a bad idea. I know you've seen Kodak Black, the Island Boys, Lil Pump. The list is forever. I know that these people have face tattoos, and you think to yourself, that's cool. I want a face tattoo. No, you don't. I promise that you don't, because of things that I just mentioned, being young and impressionable. By the time you're 40, with the Pokeball in the middle of your forehead, you're going to wish that you'd given it a little bit more thought. Trust me. Face and fingers specifically, because if you don't find a good person to do your face tattoo, it's not going to heal well. The skin around the eyes tends to be very sensitive, very flexible, very stretchy. And if you go to an artist that doesn't necessarily specialize in doing face tattoos, you could wind up with something that you regret. The ink will leak into other spots and create a blowout, or just spread because they've gone too deeply in the skin that is very soft. And you're going to wind up with something that's blurry on your face for the rest of your life. Can we agree that that's a bad idea? Now, fingers, the palm area, the sides of the fingers, the insides of fingers, that skin is very regenerative, meaning that it's often exposed to sunlight and water, pressure, lotion, cologne, all the random dumb things that you pick up in a day, and that skin tends to regenerate very often. And so with that being said, your tattoo will not last if you put it in those places. You will need 1,000 touch-ups. And who's trying to get touched up on a hand tattoo constantly? Not me. The shit hurts. Bad idea. Also, if you want me to do it, I'll do it because I need money. What else is a bad idea? Names, band logos, sports logos, Drake lyrics on your chest. They're all bad ideas. Why? Because things change. Bands break up, couples split up, sports teams move to other cities, and now you're going to have to explain to everyone why the Miami Dolphin tattoo that you got no longer applies because they've moved to, I don't know, Toronto or wherever the fuck expansion teams move to. I don't know. I don't football, okay? I tattoo. I say that to say that those types of things, you don't want to have to explain. If you have to explain your tattoo to anyone, it's a bad idea. Lastly, that brings me to the final sort of recap of all of this. If you want to avoid a bad idea for a tattoo, just do the research. If you do the research, you'll find a tattoo artist that is experienced, that can guide you in the right way of getting a tattoo, and can give you some work that you will love for a long period of time, and you won't have any regrets about it. I know what you're thinking. Fuck all that. I'm gonna run down to my local tattoo shop. It's right around the corner from my house. I'm gonna give Travis my money because he's the only motherfucker in that bitch that's not tattooing today. He looks free. I want him to tattoo me. It's a bad idea because what you don't know is today is Travis's first day on the job, and he's gonna give you something that he tried his best at, but it turns out was a bad idea, right? Right. Do the research. Your body will thank you. I will thank you. If you don't know anybody else to ask about your tattoo questions, ask me. And that, kids, is not a bad idea. Until next time, be good, and I'll see you soon. Bye.